is create the arch, if you will, the pedicles. So one way of doing that is if I count, my units here, I've got one, two, three on each side, so I need like 6 units long. I could take this transverse process we made, and I'm going to modify. I'm going to just this time I'm going to just duplicate it, so I don't need my duplicate special window at all. I can just use edit duplicate or command D, and now I have a duplicate. What I'm going to do is modify center its pivot, and I need it to be longer, so I said I need 1, 2, 3 and a little bit more, and then probably another 2, so that's about 3 on each side would be 6, maybe 2.5 in the middle and a half down here. 6 plus 2 plus 3, let's make it 9 units long. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to take that and move it. I'm going to snap its right into the middle. Now I want to bend it, and we talked about this when we did the backdrop for the rib cage template, the 3D template we made for the rib cage. If I'm going to use the bend deformer, I'm going to need to have enough edges and vertices to actually bend this. Okay, so I don't think it's going to let me use this input anymore, but I will delete its history, freeze its transformations. The pivot point's already centered, but we can just double check to make sure it stayed there. And see, if I come down here, there really isn't a way that I haven't input any longer because I've modified that. So what I can do is I think what I can do is go under edit mesh or mesh tools and say so I could again go back to our insert edge loop and put edge loops in here to help me bend this, but I'm not sure I could get them all spaced absolutely correctly. An easier way is to say add divisions, and I'm just going to leave it at add divisions exponentially and level of 1. When I say apply, see what it's done is it's now essentially divided all the faces up, but it hasn't it's done it mathematically, so they're all nice and even. So I still have my objects selected, and now I'm going to go under the rigging menu, form nonlinear bend, and you notice that my line is my bend handle is perpendicular to my arch. So what I'm going to do is go to the E key for rotate, and I am going to look at it a little bit. In other words, start to rotate it and say, okay, so I want to go in the Z axis 90 degrees. Now let's see if it bends anterior to posteriorly like we want. No, see what it's doing now? It's going superior inferior. Okay, so I've got to bend it, or I've got to rotate it again I can rotate it like this, and that's going in the y-axis. So let's try doing that 90. And now I've got the arch doing what I want it to do. So, you know, I can make a complete circle. That's pretty cool, but that's really not the shape I want. So what I might want to do is pull these. If you remember, these are called the upper and lower bound, and adjust those so that I get a little more of the shape I want. Oops. Okay, and if I select it and go to preview, you can see it's going to smooth pretty well. And that's, you know, again, I can adjust this any way I decide. You know, do I want to make this a little rounder? I can try experimenting actually moving the handle to get narrower or maybe a little broader there. Okay, and then I can adjust these two transverse processes, and maybe bring the spinous process anterior as well. And then I can use the same technique we've done for a number of these things to build the superior and inferior articular processes. So I just need to take one of these, either the transverse one, or I can take the spinous process, whatever, or I can make a brand new cube if I wanted to. And you know how to do this now. So you can then make that last piece using those techniques. Okay. So just to review real quick, we took the cube and we used under the modeling menu, we use the edit mesh, add divisions, to add enough divisions to allow it to get nice and smooth, give us enough vertices and edges that we could bend it. We then change from the modeling menu set to the rigging menu set. Went to deform, nonlinear, bend. And that gave us our bend deformer, which is still right here. And remember, if you can't find the bend deformer, you can always look it up in the outliner. And what you should do, and what you need to do to be graded favorably, is label each one of these features or structures. Okay, you can say right transverse, copy it, paste that, and I'm just using the Command C, Command V. And just to be safe, in case for some reason you want to change that later, let's what I showed you in class is you can select the child first, hold the shift key, then select the parent, and say edit, edit parent, and that will, oops, I did that backwards, I'm sorry. Child first, parent, and now you've got the bend handle as a child of the arch. So if I move the arch, the bend handle will stay with it and will not change the shape. I'm going to just undo that for a second. Another way you can do this kind of simpler, in the outliner you can middle mouse drag the child onto the parent. Now that's the same relationship now.